and all the breeds of animals and birds and men that pertain and have ever pertained to its changing shores. There's 1,000 differing and not compatible things in between that point, where enough of the highland drainlets have trickled together to form it, and that wide, flat, probably desolate place where it discharges itself into the salt of the sea. It is also an entity, one of the real wholes. But to feel the whole is hard because to know it is harder still. Feelings without knowledge, love and hatred too, seem to flow easily in any time. But they never worked well for me. The Brazos does not come from haunts of coot and hern, or even from mountains. It comes from West Texas, and in part from an equally stark stretch of New Mexico, and it runs for something over 800 miles down to the Gulf. On the high plains it is a gypsum salty intermittent creek. Down toward the coast it is a rolling southern river, with levees and cotton fields and ancient hardwood bottoms. It slices across Texas history as it does across the map of the state. The Republic's first capital stood by it, near the coast, and settlement flowed northwestward up its long trough as the water flowed down. I've shot blue quail out by the salty trickles, and a long time ago hunted alligators at night with a jacklight on the sloughs the river makes in the swamplands near the Gulf. But I do not know those places. I don't have them in me. I like them as I've liked all kinds of country from Oahu to Castilla la Vieja. But they're a part of that whole which isn't, in the way I mean, comprehensible. A piece, then, 150 or 200 miles of the river towards its center, on the fringe of West Texas, where it loops and coils snakishly from the Possum Kingdom Dam down between the rough low mountains of the Palo Pinto country into sandy peanut and post oak land, and through the cedar dark limestone hills above a new lake called Whitney. Not many highways cross that stretch. For scores of years no boom has brought people to its banks. Booms elsewhere have sucked them thence. Old respect for the river's occasional violence makes farmers and ranchers build on high ground away from the stream itself, which runs primitive and neglected. When you paddle and pole along it, the things you see are much the same things the Comanches and the Kiowas used to see, riding lean ponies down it 100 years ago to raid the new settlements in its valley. Few people nowadays give much of a damn about what the Comanches and the Kiowas saw. Those who don't have good reason. It is harsh country for the most part, and like most of West Texas, accords ill with the Saxon nostalgia for cool, green, dew-wet landscapes. Even to get into it is work. If you pick your time, the hunting and fishing are all right, but they too are work, and the Brazos is treacherous for the sort of puttering around on water that most people like. It snubs play. Its shoals shear the propeller pins of the big new outboard motors, and quicksands and whirlpools occasionally swallow folks down, so that generally visitors go to the predictable impounded lakes, leaving the river to the hard-bitten yeomanry who live along it, and to their kinsmen who gravitate back to it on weekends away from the aircraft factories and automobile assembly plants of Dallas and Fort Worth, and to those others of us for whom, in one way or another, it has meaning, which makes it worth the trouble. Personal meaning, maybe, that includes trips when you were a kid, and with the others like you could devil the men away from their fishing by trying to swim against orders where the deep swirls boiled, and catfish on the trot lines in the mornings, sliced up then and there for breakfast. And later trips, when they let you go out with a friend named Hale and a huge colored man named Bill Briggs who could lift entire tree trunks to lay across the fire where you camped under pecans by a creek mouth, above the wide sand flats of the river, and who could fry eggs rounded and brown on the outside and soft within, in a way you've never seen since. Later still, entrusted with your own safety, you went out